For months, the disappearance of brother and sister J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan captivated the country. Their grandparents' heartfelt pleas for help, launching a nationwide search.
Now to authorities intensifying their search for two missing children in Idaho.
Now, almost 2 years after the 7 and 17-year-old vanished, Kay and Larry Woodcock are one step closer to answers.
It's like the world just stopped.
Speaking to a local news crew in Arizona after the children's mother, Lori Vallow Daybell, and her husband, Chad, were indicted in Idaho on 9 new charges, including first-degree murder.
There are just so many layers that every week, every month, there's something new in this case.
The couple appeared separately at a hearing yesterday.
Well, Miss Daybell is present here. Mr. Daybell, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
But before her charges were read, Lori's attorneys unexpectedly requested to reschedule the proceeding.
Okay, that will be all for today. Thanks everybody for appearing. We will be adjourned.
Today, documents were unsealed, revealing that in March, a competency evaluation found that Lori, quote, is not competent to proceed. Prosecutors are appealing that finding.
What they're going to try to do is try to find a way to make her competent. What exactly is the issue that makes it hard for her to understand how this case is going about? Does she need to be medicated? Does she need to be transferred to a different facility to get additional medical services? They're going to keep trying to find ways to make her competent until she can stand trial. If this was petty larceny, stealing a few dollars here, or someone's cell phone or wristwatch, maybe the prosecution would find a different way of resolving the case. But for a case where you're talking about conspiracy to commit murder for 3 people and murder against 2 children, the prosecution is really going to wait for her to be found competent to throw the book at her.
It is just the latest bizarre twist in a saga stretching from Idaho to Arizona to Hawaii that includes the missing kids, a curious trail of deaths surrounding the couple and accusations of belonging to a doomsday group and wanting to rid the world of zombies. In September of 2019, Lori moved JJ and Tylee to Idaho. After months of no contact, the grandparents, Kay and Larry, asked police to conduct a welfare check.
She never would respond to anything. Text, voicemails, emails, nothing.
When police went to Lori's home, they discovered not only was JJ missing, but so was Tylee. Authorities allege Lori and Chad told police a series of lies.
He wants you to tell the truth.
Chad acted as if he didn't know Lori very well, the authorities said. He didn't know her phone number, according to the affidavit. And Lori's brother told the police that JJ was with his grandma, Kay. Authorities say it was a clear lie, since Kay first called in the missing child report. Lori herself told police JJ was in Gilbert, Arizona with a friend. The day after that police visit, the couple vanished, showing up 2 months later in Hawaii.
Can you tell me where your kids are, Chad and Lori? Can you tell me where your kids are?
Lori and Chad refused multiple times to answer questions about the welfare of their kids.
I just wanted to ask you, are the kids okay? Can you tell me?
I just can't comment. It's 30 minutes of process.
Okay. And why can't you comment?
Legal reasons. Attorney told me not to speak.
In November, Chad and Lori got married on a beach in Hawaii, but neither JJ nor Tylee was there for the celebration. Their wedding just 2 weeks after Chad's former wife, Tammy, died of, quote, natural causes. But in this week's indictment, prosecutors say Lori and Chad exchanged text messages claiming Tammy was possessed by a spirit named Viola and alleging that Chad received $430,000 from a life insurance policy after Tammy's death.
We're processing a lot of evidence that has been accumulated.
He is now facing first-degree murder charges in connection with her death. In late January 2020, authorities in Idaho demanded Lori physically produce the children within 5 days. But no children surfaced, and in February, Lori was arrested in Hawaii.
The demand has been made for your surrender by the state of Idaho. Yes. Know that you have been charged in the state of Idaho with a number of charges.
The 47-year-old faced with 5 charges, including 2 felony counts of desertion and non-support of a dependent child.
We would request that bail be reduced.
So what specific amount are you asking?
I'm asking for $10,000.
But a judge declared her a flight risk, and her bail was set at $5 million.
What I want to reiterate is that we are all hopeful that we are able to locate the missing children.
We know it's a positive step forward. We also know that as good as this news is as bad as it is also because we still don't have children.
A week later, Lori was smiling at times as she was read the charges in an Idaho courtroom, but still no sign of the missing children. In June of last year, authorities executed a search warrant and Chad's property was dug up, captured by East Idaho News. The children's remains were found and he was arrested. But murder charges against the couple were just filed this week.
The prosecution's murder case is very strong because there's so many different avenues in which they can get a conviction. They can say that one of the two of them, being Chad or Lori, either assisted, actually did the killing, encouraged someone, or commanded them to do so.
According to the latest indictment, they, quote, espouse religious beliefs for the purpose of justifying the homicide of JJ and Tylee. Last year, friends told investigators Chad and Lori believed they were part of the, quote, Church of the Firstborn, and their mission was to rid the world of zombies. At least one friend telling investigators Lori believed her children had turned into zombies, that JJ was considered a dark spirit, and that a person's true spirit was stuck until the host body is physically killed.
Of all the murder cases captivating this country, there is no such murder case that has so many layers. You have dead former lovers, missing bodies of children in a field. You have zombies, you have spirits. There's so many interesting layers to this case that people can't stop watching.
Authorities in Arizona are also considering whether to file charges against Lori, this time for the death of her former husband and JJ's father, Charles. For Nightline, I'm Marcus Moore.
This morning, the legal team representing the so-called doomsday mom, Lori Vallow, are raising concerns about her mental competency. Lori and her husband are charged with killing her 2 children. Now her attorneys say she's unfit to stand trial. Marcus Moore has that story.
Ms. Daybell is present here.
We saw Lori Vallow this week for the first time in months, appearing before a judge via Zoom on first-degree murder charges in the deaths of her 2 kids, JJ and Tylee. And this morning, her attorney arguing the woman seen in that feed is unfit to stand trial. The documents filed by her attorney stating, quote, the completed assessment determined that at this time, the defendant is not competent to proceed and recommends restorative treatment. Prosecutors objecting to that evaluation. The judge halting proceedings for now, but has yet to make a final determination on whether proceedings will continue. So the agony persists for JJ and Tylee's grandparents, who've been desperate for answers since reporting them missing nearly 2 years ago, telling East Idaho News how they felt following the grand jury indictments.
It's like the world just stopped.
Just like it stopped.
It's like,
yeah. And it was a hard day for us, a very hard day.
Now, new legal trouble may be brewing for Vallow. Prosecutors in Maricopa County, Arizona, now deciding whether Lori should face first-degree murder charges related to the death of her former husband, Charles Vallow, before her children were reported missing. He was killed by Lori's now deceased brother, Alex Cox, in what was originally ruled self-defense. And in a separate case, prosecutors have since named Alex Cox a co-conspirator in the death of Tammy Daybell, the former wife of Lori's husband, Chad, who died a few months after Charles Vallow. In the indictment, authorities accused the couple of justifying the alleged murders because of their spiritual beliefs.
Ever since she's been involved in this doomsday cult, that is not the same Lori that we knew for 13 years.
And Marcus joins me live now for more on this. Marcus, this is one of those stories that it's just twist after twist after twist. So Vallow's attorney now filed these documents saying that she's not mentally competent to proceed and is recommending restorative treatment instead. Prosecutors are objecting to that. So what happens next?
Well, Diane, we know that according to that order that Vallow will undergo some type of restorative treatment. Exactly what that is, we don't know. And so the proceedings are on hold as they relate to Vallow. And at some point, there will be a hearing. We don't know what date or what time it will happen, but the judge will be a part of the discussion to determine whether Vallow will indeed stand trial. So, but the timeline at this point, Diane, is still up in the air.
And as we heard in your piece, Lori could also potentially face first-degree murder charges related to the death of her former husband, Charles Vallow, who was killed by her brother before the children were reported missing. What's the latest on that part of this case?
So that's happening in Maricopa County, Arizona, and at this point they are considering the charges. She has not been officially charged in connection with that murder. This is another case or another part of this story, Diane, where the timing, there's still a big question mark in terms of what will happen with that. But we do know that there has been a recommendation for charges, but that has not been made official at this point.
And Chad Daybell, Lori's husband, is also facing charges not only for the death of Lori's 2 children, but also for the death of his previous wife. So how will these new developments with Lori affect his trial?
So it's all at this point, it seems like it is connected in some way, and these investigations are certainly linked. But in terms of how it's going to impact the charges he's facing in that case, that remains to be seen. But we know that they are facing charges, that Tammy Daybell, her original death was considered natural causes, and now he is facing, her husband, her former husband, is now facing charges in connection with her death. So, so many layers, Diane, to this story, a lot of moving parts, and will, of course, be very interesting to see how it all plays out. But the big question this morning is whether Lori Vallow, when and if she will stand trial in the coming weeks and months.
We'll be keeping an eye on that. Marcus Moore, thank you.